Hi everyone, this is Bill, and welcome to our emerging channel where we will primarily be covering three main topics: real estate and stock investing, and the greatest game, college football. Today, we will preview the 2020 Nebraska Cornhuskers. Nebraska appeared set to make a move in 2019, but after a lethargic victory over South Alabama where nobody looked good, Nebraska fell at Boulder after leading 17-0, indicative of yet another disappointing season that is hard for the faithful to tolerate. Injuries and the ineffectiveness of Adrian Martinez at the quarterback played a role, but after getting blown out at home by Ohio State, the season was tanked. The offensive woes were glaring, a puzzling product of this coaching staff with a returning quarterback. Failing to make bowl games should not and will not be tolerated, so the pressure is now on this coaching staff to get the Big Red rolling, even in this coronavirus-stricken upcoming season. Talent has been being assembled, and the sense of urgency now engulfs the program. Coming off a strong freshman campaign, in our Nebraska Preview last year we wrote that the Big Red should be stronger on offense with Adrian Martinez, who, if able to remain healthy, appeared poised to play himself into national honors consideration. Martinez was not healthy, lost many of his weapons, and had a horrendous season, in no way resembling the player he was in 2018. In fact, while Coach Scott Frost may not concur, fans will have a short leash on Martinez this fall if major improvement is not apparent in short order. Improving upon the numbers Martinez had in 2018, which saw him throw for 17 touchdowns, rushing for 8, while completing some 65% of his throws for approximately 2,600 yards, were expected last year. Those numbers would be a big significant improvement from the 2019 effort. Martinez appears to have all the tools, and he will need to rise up to the occasion to keep his job, which he almost lost last year. Noah Vedral got some opportunities, but the Husker legacy player has transferred to Rutgers, clearing the way for Luke McCaffrey, who has flashed some outstanding playmaking abilities in limited opportunities. Coaches and fans have confidence in McCaffrey, with some hoping he hits the field sooner than later. Martinez dazzled us in 2018, and we hope he can regain that level of performance. We will know early, and if he fails to show significant improvement from 2019, expect to see the talented McCaffrey right quick. Four-star Logan Smothers, who has many excited for the future, will be the third-team signal caller. Georgia Tech transfer Dedrick Mills had a decent season last year, especially with him seemingly having to shoulder a more extensive role than originally thought after phenom Maurice Washington, who often showed flashes of brilliance, was sadly removed from the team. Ramir Johnson could be an exciting player at running back as well, but stamina and health are a concern for him. If Johnson is 100%, he could be a very dangerous player for the Huskers. If healthy, Ronald Tompkins could also be a weapon. Freshman Savion Morrison and Marvin Scott show great promise and look ready for prime time. Nebraska record-setting wide receiver J.D. Spielman, a potential honors candidate, inexplicably left Nebraska to transfer to TCU to be a kick returner, so the Huskers are pretty inexperienced at wide receiver for 2020. Sophomore Wandale Robinson, certainly considered the Big Red's top offensive player in 2019, returns at slot receiver ready for a breakout season on the national stage. Cade Warner, who was injured much of 2019, has been very reliable for the Big Red and returns. JUCO transfer Omar Manning at 6'4", 225 appears the big play, stretching the field wide out the Huskers have longed for. But the Huskers seem treading slowly here heading into the season. If ready, Manning has unlimited potential and could be a very dangerous weapon. Jamie Nance and Chris Hickman are behind him and are ready to go. Youngsters Alante Brown and Marcus Fleming seem poised to play. A wild card is Demarion Houston, who has great speed, as is Levi Falk, who has impressed in fall camp. This is potentially a strong group with Robinson leading the way, but as a whole, it's very unproven. The impact of new offensive coordinator Matt Lubick will be vital. The tight end position was a weapon for Frost at UCF, and we expect it to increase as a central piece of the offense in Lincoln moving forward. Jack Stoll was the starter, and 6'8" Austin Allen was a favorite target for Martinez in 2018, and he should be a big factor. Travis Vokalek, a transfer from Rutgers, seems a real playmaker and will factor in without question. Kurt Rafdahl will also play. When evaluating the potential ascension of a team, we often look at the returning starts on the offensive line. In looking at the 2020 Cornhuskers, the offensive line looks like a veteran group, as there's a high number of starters returning within the offensive line. Former Husker player Greg Austin came to Nebraska from UCF with Scott Frost and is considered an outstanding offensive line coach. Austin seems to have settled in on a group as we get going in 2020. At left tackle is Brendan Hymas, who has 20 starts under his belt. Hymas has played some good ball, and he's an all-Big Ten candidate, but there's still room for improvement. Four-star freshman Turner Corcoran is looking good and will backheim us. Bo Wilson will start at left guard with Brock Bando on the second team. Cameron Jurgens, who got off to a slow start in 2019, is anchored at center, and he has massive potential. Will Farniak will back him up. Matt Farniak moves inside on the right side to play right tackle, which suits him better. Ethan Piper and Trent Hickson are reserves in there. Bryce Benhart at 6'9", 300 steps in at right tackle with Christian Gaylord backing up. The quality depth up front has improved, and Coach Greg Austin really likes that. We expect the offensive line to be much improved in 2020. It will be important for this group to at a minimum meet expectations, for if Nebraska is to emerge as a conference champion contender, the Big Red will need to be able to run the ball when they have to, not just when they want to. It would also be great if one of these veterans up front could step up as a leader, kind of a coach on the field, to help when adversity strikes. Nebraska, which had difficulty in finishing drives last fall, must improve significantly in the red zone. It's tough to win games having issues there. Nobody wants to kick field goals, but having a reliable place kicker would also help. Success in 2020 will fall on the quarterback position having an experienced line to operate behind while establishing a good running game. With an experienced line, a veteran quarterback, some decent backs, and a standout player in Wan'Dale Robinson, the unit should average a minimum of 30 points per game. Should things go off smoothly, there's potential for so much more. Before we jump over to preview the defense, let us know in the comments what your thoughts on the Husker offense are. Hey, and while you're at it, we would sure appreciate you giving us a like. An area of the defense that needs significant improvement is the defensive end position, and former assistant Mike Dawson has come back to help us out on the defensive front. The Big Red had serious issues setting the edge and have had for several seasons. Nebraska has been average in quarterback sacks and pressures and gave up an alarming amount of yards per rush within the conference a year ago. For the Huskers to rise to the next level, this must improve. First of all, Ben Stilley needs to improve his stat line, which accounted last year for only 3 sacks. Casey Rogers is a guy on the come, so look for him to get on the field. Everybody's raving about Ty Robinson at nose tackle. Robinson has the potential to be a superstar and will be a real issue for opposing offensive lines. Damian Daniels is also stout. These are the big guys, the guys Frost spoke about wanting to see a few years back when Iowa was pushing around the Husker defensive front. JoJo Doman will man one outside linebacker spot. Doman is quick and has a good football IQ and is capable of making big plays. Garrett Nelson will back up Doman, but look for Nico Cooper, who is an emerging backup who could well see significant time. Freshman Javian Wright showed significant promise, but a shoulder has him sidelined for the year. Caleb Tanner has real serious potential at the other outside linebacker spot, but he has not been a complete player as of yet. Nick Henrich and, again, Nico Cooper are players that can get on the field, and even Jackson Hanna may figure in. Much improvement is needed in inside linebacker. Returning starters Colin Miller and Will Honus return. Miller has great speed but gets lost on occasion, but he seems settled in. Will Honus has been injured, but he has not maximized his potential since arriving. Luke Reimer seems to make plays when given the opportunity. Nick Henrich is a player to watch, however. Garrett Snodgrass and Jack Slager are backups. We were very excited at the promise of Braxton Clark at corner, but he has been lost for the season. Thankfully, the secondary is perhaps the strongest position on the team. Cam Taylor-Britt can play every position, and has, but it seems he is best suited at cornerback, and that's where he'll start out 2020. DiCaprio Boodle is very solid at the opposite corner. JUCO transfer Nadab Joseph has big size at 6'2" and is pushing to get on the field, while Quentin Newsom is one of the best Huskers nobody knows about. Ronald Delancey and freshman Taman Lynham are fast improving. Deontay Williams was ready for prime time in 2019 at safety, but he was lost for the season early. Williams is potentially special, and his injury really set the defense back. Freshman Noah Pola-Gates is a star in the making and will start out backing up Deontay Williams, but expect him to find the field somewhere. At strong safety, returning starter Markel Dismuke, who carries a big stick, returns after playing injured much of 19, but there are a contingent of folks who think Miles Farmer has great potential at the spot. Cam Taylor-Britt would be the 5th safety if necessary. There's a ton of talent and experience on the back end for the Big Red, and the secondary should be a position of strength. An issue for the Black Shirts since Frost arrived is winning the turnover battle, an item his defenses are predicated on. The defense is designed to give up some yards while feasting on turnovers. So far, under Frost and Eric Shenander, we have not seen much of that. The Husker defense has had issues getting opponent offenses off the field on third down. There appears to be talent to make gains in the area of quarterback pressures, stopping the run, and creating the environment that produces turnovers. It is paramount if Nebraska wants to get back to winning. Nebraska has been horrific on special teams for years now, and it's costing Nebraska football games. The kicking specialists were very average, and field goals were once again sketchy at best. Opponent kickoff returns for touchdowns by Wisconsin and Iowa were perhaps decisive in those games a year ago. Considering the intelligence and athleticism Nebraska has, this is simply unacceptable and must be significantly corrected. Michigan State transfer William Preistup came in last year and should win the punting job. LSU transfer Connor Culp is the obvious favorite at place kicker. Feels like this aspect of the game will be improved. Certainly Wan'Dale Robinson can return kicks, and Cam Taylor-Britt has experience returning punts. But these guys are valuable, so the staff will likely look elsewhere. Candidates from the trio of backs and Ramir Johnson, Marvin Scott, and Savion Morrison, and perhaps Damian Houston, Alante Brown, and Marcus Fleming as receivers could get chances. Kick returns are hidden yardage, and Nebraska needs to improve dramatically in this very important area of the game. In year 2 at UCF, Frost took the Knights to an undefeated season and a Peach Bowl victory over the SEC's Auburn Tigers. Many thought something similar would occur after he arrived in Lincoln. But while it is not all on Frost, thus far his return has not produced anything close to the expectations for on-the-field performance. There are indications internally the program is being built correctly and brighter days are indeed ahead. But the natives are already becoming restless, and they cannot be blamed after 2 4-8 season with no bowl participation. This team is young but becoming more talented every year. This is a group that is poised to excel, but this is a very young team and needs leadership on the field who can assist when bad things happen. Nebraska's been horrible at overcoming adversity, and that needs to change. Winning helps bring confidence, but taking care of your own individual business out on the gridiron is key. Perhaps Brandon Hymas offensively and Cam Taylor-Britt on the defensive side can step up in the leadership area. The weight room implemented by Zach Duval has changed the physical condition of the team, allowing many more avenues of success to travel. Wan'Dale Robinson seems the leading honors candidate, and with the production we anticipate him having, he should garner all Big Ten honors. Offensively, Brendan Hymas and Cameron Jurgens could reach all big, and don't count out Dedrick Mills if he elevates his game. On the defensive side, Cam Taylor-Britt, DiCaprio Boodle, Markel Dismuke, and Deontay Williams are all potentially in contention for all big status. In our final analysis, first, we are thankful to be playing ball in 2020, and fans across the Big Ten can really thank the folks associated with the Nebraska football program, along with the contingent from Ohio State, that we're playing at all. If it were up to Big Ten Commissioner Kevin Warren, who was advancing a political agenda, we would all be holed up in our basement. A revised schedule dealt Nebraska no favors, as the Huskers open up on the road at veteran and powerful Ohio State. Coming back to Lincoln, Wisconsin visits. The plug-and-play Badgers are a top 15 team, but starting quarterback Jack Cohn is out indefinitely. The Huskers then travel to Northwestern before returning to Lincoln to play a top 10 team in Penn State. The Lions' best player, linebacker Micah Parsons, has opted out. Odds favor a 1-3 record here, but 2-2 seems more reasonable. Illinois visits, so the Big Red should be 3-2 before traveling to Iowa City on Black Friday. Boy, is Nebraska due in that game. Nebraska then visits Purdue before hosting Minnesota to close it out. Most will say Nebraska goes 3-5, but I will project some good things happen along the way, and the Huskers finish 5-3 before the extra big game. Go Big Red. We hope you enjoyed our Nebraska preview. Please leave a comment below with your prediction for your opinion of Nebraska's record this fall. We would welcome you to follow us also on Facebook at The Color and Pageantry. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.